everyone. Happy New Year and happy 2022. I inspire freedom from within in order to locate your true north. Understanding who you are is the essence of being able to contribute back to the world. Cheryl Witha, da-da-da-da-da, inspiring freedom from deep within. 'Cause everybody needs somebody to spark it up.
Happy New Year. Good afternoon. This is Mallory from Hearts&Minds Development Center. Yes, if you heard Cheryl, I am sure you can't wait to meet this singing educator, I would say. Whose show now? It is my show. I took it back, Alia. No worries. It's my show. It's my show. It's my show. All right. I'm going to say hello to a couple of people whom I'm sure are in this are in today because of Cheryl. Hi, Helen. Hi, Sumati. Hi, of course, our dearest AK. And yay, I have Jay Sinaya, who's there for me. Jay's my good friend, and she says, you've got great voice. So I'm going to bring in Cheryl very quickly so that I can tell her what Jay says about me and my singing, okay? So let's bring on Cheryl. Welcome to... tiba-tiba malu pula. Suddenly, singing time not chat.
Mala, of all the reels you could have taken, that's like, Instagram is away from LinkedIn. Nobody sees that part of me so much.
So, I have an excuse that I don't do all of this. All of this is done by one person, Kirtana. So, all credits go to her. And you have such lovely voice. So, Cheryl, before I quickly introduce you, I must say that my friend Jay always says, she's like my wonderful friend who always raises me up at any point of time. She says, you've got a great voice, which I'm sure, all of us agree. But, one of those things she'll tell me when I say, Ayo, Jay, I cannot sing. She say, yeah, Mallar, don't sing. Because that's how bad. And so, welcome to the show. This is our first show of 2022, being me. The number is 37, and it happens to be my lucky number. So, Cheryl, first and foremost, thank you very much for saying yes. And what attracted me to you is, your true north. So, welcome, and perhaps you want to say hello very quickly to people before we go through all the things that I want to ask you, my dear.
Hi, everyone. Super nervous to be here because, Mala, the great interviewer, is the one doing it, right? Hello, hi.
Okay, I like the way that you said I'm a great interviewer. I hope and pray I do justice to your amazing heart and talent, Cheryl. But, perhaps we can go a little bit as to where we met. Do you remember where we met?
Yes,
Do you remember how you found me?
We met at Inti.
Exactly. So I remember my first session, when I came to Inti to run the session, right? And that was the first time I met. And, it's just amazing what LinkedIn does, right? That you never think that people who connect with you via LinkedIn and give you an opportunity, and you did give me an opportunity in the space that I love, which is working with people, especially young people. And we've done a bit more work with young people, and I know you're passionate about it. But I want to thank you for your friendship, all right? Because you actually do, lift me up every time we speak to each other. So thank you very much. Now, I'm very sure by now, before one of my friends say it's not about you anymore, yours was over last week. Now Cheryl's turn. Cheryl, tell us a little bit about your background, as to tell us where you come from. What are the things that you would like us to know, instead of me, asking you. So tell us, if people are meeting you for the first time and the things that they cannot read on LinkedIn, right? Tell us a little bit about you.
I'm very loud, very bubbly, full of energy. I think you can see through the screen
Hey, tell
most of
us
the
what we
time.
don't know, Tana.
That one we'll have to see your skills, lah, Mala, whether you can get it out of me or not.
Okay, let's find out.
Okay, I'm from a very small town in Teluk Intan. Both of my parents are from very different backgrounds. They're mixtures. So I have a Sinhalese side, and most people don't know I'm Sinhalese. And my mom is Indian. My father's Sinhalese. My father's Buddhist, and my mom is Catholic. So very, very different. Grew up in a very mixed background. I have extremely curly hair. All my life, people thought I was African, even though I'm true and true Malaysian, yeah, from a very small town. Grew up in a very small town setting. My family is got every single race and religion you can think of, lah, every single one. And I
Nice.
contributed to that as well. So very much more. So we have the way I look at life is very open because of those different cultures that we have,
Right.
and my parents being from a mixed marriage, because of their background and how hard was it for them to actually get married and get their parents to agree, because Singlish and Indian at that time, it was like a no. So it their struggles and things, I've learned a lot from that, and it's given me a very different view of how life is. And I have two kids. I recently had a child, which I shared on LinkedIn, which I usually don't do. I shared on LinkedIn because of the issues that occurred with emergency services. Yeah, so my baby is about 7 months old now. Okay, and I have a 4-year-old that you probably saw on Mala show the week before. Yeah, and I have a very I have a husband that keeps me on my toes, keeps me grounded, and uplifts me. If you see any wisdom from me, right, it's not me, it's coming from him actually. He really challenges me constantly, and it makes me a better person. So, I mean, that my whole life
Nice.
is actually my family, lah, I would say. My family, my grounding. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I need to meet this guy, because I've been hearing about him all the time. And I think it's time to meet him. And Honey says, she
Hi,
says, yeah,
honey.
two favorite ladies. Honey, thank you for including me, even though I know you come a very long way from Cheryl. Cheryl, never stop singing praises of you. Nandini says, hi. Hi, Nandini. Thanks for coming in.
Hi, Nandini.
So it's very interesting, right? Because I mean, literally speaking, it would be like people would think you're Indian as to, like, even Sinhalese, people won't know the difference. As you say, I was also thinking, right? And I like the fact that your whole life started with confusion, as to, like, with confusion clarity, and and how all of that shapes you as a person, right? And I know you have a very beautiful loud voice on LinkedIn. Yeah. Alia says, "Jom to Srumban to meet back to Cheryl." Actually, I want to go to Srumban to meet Cheryl's husband. Um, because
I don't know if
Cheryl,
he's listening. I gave him the link, but I don't know if he's listening.
no, maybe you don't want him to listen, because then he might not be around when we come. So I think we'll just pay you a surprise visit, because I have a husband. Jabut will run away if he sees all these loud women coming, right? Hi, Louis. Happy Friday. He says, yes, we should. Very bubbly. Keep it up, ladies. Thanks. So Cheryl, now that we know a little bit about you, right? So tell us, I know this, right? Every time I talk to you, besides you being this life energy, and I know people say I'm energetic, right? So if my battery is full, you're an energizer battery is full, right? I when I look at you, I'm like, how the heck does she do it? So I love your energy. But when we first met, you were organizing something for the youth. So tell us a little bit about that work that you do. Can
Okay,
lift this?
so that was the Lighthouse Conference, the mini series.
Yes.
So we usually run a Lighthouse Conference. Now we call it the Me series, Me Conference. So what we do is every year we'll have a mini version, which is during the short semester, and then during the long semester where we have more time, we have like once a year an annual conference. So we've had the conference I think twice or three times so far. Last year, because I was away, took a bit of a break. Yeah, so we didn't have the conference last year. And the whole purpose of that is actually it started because I was wanting to help my students develop professionally, right? So start with
Mm.
the personal and then develop the professional. So that's how we actually got Mala in, right? I didn't invite you, they invited you, they actually sourced. And I've always pride
Oh,
myself for choosing the right people, people
right.
who are suitable, people who are motivational, people who come from a very strong set of values to come in. So I always tell
Mm.
my students, right? I don't want you to just choose anyone with, founder, CEO sort of thing. I want you to choose someone that has certain values that is going to help impact you. So when they brought you in, I was like, wow. They brought in really quality people. They brought in Kitchan, they brought in yourself. So amazing the way my students were able to actually run that thing. The whole idea of this, it stemmed from a professional development class. They need to organize this conference, this mini conference, where they
Mm.
bring in people to touch different areas. So, for example, mindset, for example, maybe EQ, maybe fitness, looking at physical side. They need to bring these different people in to
Mm.
help them develop these different areas at the same time, help them with event management, decision making. It is to get them to understand why that development is so important. I think we brought Ryan Irwan as well during that time when you came, actually. Ryan Irwan was there as well. So the hard part for young students like in their 20s is reaching out to people they don't know and
Right.
following up. That's the hardest part, following up. So they need to approach you now, someone they don't know, who's usually like a founder, a CEO, maybe someone expert in their field. So that is the hard part for them. So that is the whole idea of the Lighthouse Conference, or now we call it the Me Conference, is to get students out of their comfort zone. They're so comfortable where they are. They don't want to try something new. Ask them to interview someone, they'll be like, Miss, can I interview Miss Joanna? Can I interview Miss Xiaosan? Like all our colleagues. I said, no, you can't. So I need to approach strangers? I'm like, yes, that's the idea. But
Right.
I don't know them. I said, that's the idea. We're supposed to network. What if they say no? I said, it's okay lah. Try someone else. What
Next
if
one.
they say no? Yeah.
Yeah, someone told me once, when you get a no, when I first got into sales, right? What's a
Yeah.
no? No means okay, I'm done with this. Next one, all right.
Yeah.
But it's amazing because I was shocked, Cindy. I thought Cheryl looked for me, but actually, good, your students looked for me. But the few times I've worked with your students, I've been
Yes.
very impressed with the quality you bring in. But I just want to say, it's not just about young people or students saying, "Oh, do I really have to interview? Am I afraid of no?" I think
Yeah.
adults that I speak to also say that, right? So I think it's. I'm not sure if it's. I would totally agree with you if it's about the age, but I
No,
think the
it's not. It's not about the age, definitely. But it's just that at this point of time, they've not been exposed, right? Most, I mean,
exactly
not just students, of course, different people as well. But students generally are often we shelter them a lot. We protect them a lot. Either their parents protect them. Sorry, parents, but it's the truth, right? And or teachers sometimes protect them as well. So we kind of put them in a little bubble, and we are scared to push them out. Maybe because we feel they're not ready. What if they go out and they make a mistake? And I think it's an Asian mindset with failure. We cannot make mistakes. And this is what even Junaid Iqbal I had on my show last Monday, right? He said that, right? We're so afraid to make mistakes because what if we fail? But so what if we make mistakes? So what? We just learn a new way of doing things, right? So the mindset is there, like you said, not just with youths, but everyone, right? Even
yeah
us.
yeah
We are afraid. What if we bring this person in and she does this or he does this? Or what if I make a mistake and I come on Mala's show and I completely make a fool out of myself? What
Well, there
if?
are both of us, so don't you worry. Like I've already set the precedent by making a fool of myself. So chill. Nobody can be worse than what I have
No,
done.
but that's the thing, right? It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
It's
it's
okay.
not no. So Shara, I'm going to just stop you for a bit because I think what you're doing for the young people is this, right? What I really appreciate is that you are pulling them out of whatever comfort zone or that they are hiding behind, and you bringing them up by giving them an opportunity to push forward, right?
Yeah.
And if they start young, I mean, it's fear, right? False evidence appearing real. I try, and what's the worst that will happen? People call it failure. So I'm not too sure whether I will associate. I don't like the word failure. Neither do
Yes.
I like the word success. I just think
Yes.
it's experience, right? So
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
it is the experiences you like, you want, are all the experiences that you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what
Definitely.
for me I look at success, and failure. Now, Honey says this, right? Honey says, you said nice things about me, so you are my favorite also. Like, only because I said nice things. Okay. I also want to say hi to my other favorite friends here, Anya, Joe, Sumati, and James. Okay, she got so many favorites. I don't feel so special. Hi, Jack. Jack is my beautiful cousin who supports me a lot.
Exactly.
And Louis is talking to Honey, so I'm not going to talk to them. Alia says you're entitled to make mistakes. They are yours anyway.
Yeah.
So my personal preference is to cut away from language that is
Yeah.
disempowering. And for me,
That's
mistake is one of the words that disempowers us, and failures is another one. And so for me, it's like, if you don't want failure, then you shouldn't also connect to success, but just experiences of what
yeah.
makes you right. Now, uh, Luis Morais says, unfortunately, we've been trained that way from young. We should be right always. That had taken the adventure away. I believe I'm adventurous and frankly enjoy most of my failures. Again, caught up with the failure, but never mind.
Yeah.
I'll let Joe.
But it's how we associate with the word, right, Mala? So some of these words we're afraid of, so we back away from them. So another way of empowering ourselves is taking back ownership of that word and saying, hey, when I talk about failure, hey, I'm proud of my failures because that means I've tried like 100, 200, 300 different ways of doing the same thing. And, I found a way finally. It
Yeah,
shows progress.
I would love to have a
Yeah,
fun debate with you on failure, but I'm not going to. Because I have got loads of good questions to ask you.
sure,
Uh,
sure.
so so for me, it's not so much of like, so when we think about the concept of failure, I think we invented it. And
Yeah.
if it's not resourceful, it doesn't make us, come through well. Then my question is, why do I want to associate it to that? And
Mm.
how often when we say failure, it is really a failure? I'm not too sure, right? But never
Yeah.
mind. We'll move on. Now, so you have started a new show, My Kind of People.
Oh, yes.
What, what are you trying to do? Like one show that you
What
could
am I
not do.
trying to do? Not enough, right? I got so many.
Not enough, right? So tell me about my kind. I just love the topic, by the way, my kind of people, and I like the word kind because I think you are full of kindness. Cheryl. You're just so kind. So while I read it as my type of people, I said,
Yeah.
okay. As much as it's my type of people, I think the people who will appear on your show are people very, very kind, like the heart that you have. So tell us about why did you start this? What's behind it? Yeah, tell us.
So I've always wanted to start a show, not necessarily a show, but I always wanted to showcase people that I've met. And because of my personality, right, whether it's online or offline, I always want to get to know more people and network with more people. So if Mala come and tell me something like, hey, you're friends with that person, you shouldn't be friends with that person. That will that will push me to know that person even more because I want to find out everything I can. I like challenges, I like adventure, and I like to look for different people in different backgrounds and people who are completely opposite to me, people who are different from me. So a lot of my best friends are actually very quiet, complete opposite to who I
Yeah.
am, and my husband as well. So very
I mean,
different from me.
mix around with people who talk as much as us. Who's going to listen to us, man? So yeah, we agree. We should only befriend quiet people. The noisy ones, stay away. Yeah. So the people that you shouldn't friend here is you don't know Louis, do you? So don't friend Cheryl and Louis Morais. They're not
I
good
think I've
for
even
you.
spoken to Luis before, actually, if I'm not
Have you?
mistaken.
No,
I
don't.
have,
He's
I
so
have.
nice. You have spoken to him, okay? So Gerald, not yet. So don't mix around with Gerald. I'm already telling you, he's not a good guy. Don't mix around with him, okay? Now, so so the thinking behind, so you're running these two shows, right? How does that connect to what you call your true north? Now, before you answer the question, tell me what is this thing about true north?
Ah.
Because it's
So
such a powerful concept.
my idea of true north has changed a lot as I progress and as I grow.
Mm,
Initially, it was about finding your purpose, right?
okay.
us finding our purpose in life. And when I first started on this journey, I thought that there was just one purpose. Of course, we have one over, like one huge, big idea sort of thing, right? But our purpose changes as we grow and our idea of our purpose as well. But I started with the idea of finding my purpose. But I just realized one thing, right? We don't need to find our purpose. If you're finding our person, that means it's lost. Our purpose is not lost. No. That is the revelation I got, that's the revelation I got in
I
2021.
can say I'm finding my purpose. Okay, I'm not going to say that in this show. So
I'm
tell
not
me.
finding my purpose anymore, but I'm locating my purpose because
Good.
it's there within us. And that's why if you hear me, I always say things inspiring freedom, right? I want to inspire the freedom from within you because everything is within us. It's just a matter of us unlocking it, right? And then you will ask, like, okay, lah, if I have everything within me, why do I need you? Why do I need Mala? Why do I need everyone else? And that is what you played in the beginning, right? Which I felt embarrassed about my song.
So
The
why
song,
do you need people? Answer
yeah,
that question too.
because everybody, like the lyrics, right? Everybody needs someone to spark it up. It's there. First, we need to locate it, and then someone needs to spark it up for you. All right. If I can quote my master, right, Suhu actually taught me this from NLP side. Suhu says that this little guy within you with a little torchlight, with all your files inside your system, right, looking. So the guy is like underpaid, and he has a lot of work because given him a lot of stuff to do. So can you imagine this one person looking around and finding things for you? So sometimes we got everything within us, but we need someone to guide us there. We have it within us. We need someone to help us locate that purpose. It's within us. We know it, even we even maybe we even speak of it in our language, but we need someone to like point it out to us and say, hey, do you know, you always say this, like in my class, right? My students, like I ask them, like, what's your strengths? What do you like to do? I don't know, miss. And then when they speak about certain things, you can see their eyes light up, their face lights up, their whole body language changes. Then from there, I know that's what you love.
Mm,
That
mm,
is something that connects to you, right?
mm,
And that happens when you actually locate your purpose, right? You are in alignment.
mm. So
And we need
know what?
people.
Sorry,
Everyone needs
every,
everyone needs people. Everyone needs somebody to
every.
spark that.
Okay, I'm waiting for a song to come through from you, but before that, let me just recap what you've said because you've given us not golden nuggets. I usually say last year I was saying, oh, that's golden nuggets. Now this year I'm going to go diamond nuggets. Okay, we have to up the game, right?
Mhm.
So you've said a couple of things. So what you're saying is that one, you're saying we all have a purpose, full stop, and we don't need to find it out of us. It's within us, and what we're doing through our through not is actually located. So
Yes.
when you say located, are you, because when we talk about true north, can I say that we're talking about a compass, right?
Yes, your compass.
Where am I heading? What's my journey, right? And so if I want to decide where I'm going, I need to probably think about why I want to be there in the first place,
Hmm.
right? Which is usually your purpose statement, right?
Yeah.
And so, but before I know why I want to go there and where I want to go, I need to know where the where the heck I am now, right? So that so that's finding. So did I understand your concept correctly?
Actually, for
Mm,
me,
mm.
it doesn't start with the why or the where. It starts with the
Okay,
who.
okay, tell us more.
Who are you? If you don't know
Right.
who you are, how
Mm,
do you know why you exist? How do you know where you are from? How do
right.
you know what superpowers you have? How do you know how to
Mm,
apply those superpowers? And how do you
mm,
know where you're going? You need to
mm,
know who you are. What are you all about? And it's
mm,
not a question that you can just say, so Mala, tell me, who are you right now? It's not as simple as that, right? You take time. But I feel the issue most of us have, including myself, we are so focused on finding or looking for other people and other brands. A lot of us wear brands, right? Carry
mm,
Louis Vuitton. And who is Louis Vuitton? It's a person, right? We're carrying someone else's brand, someone else's name, and we are very proud to carry it. But are we proud to carry our own brand? Are we proud to find out who we are? Do we invest? Do we invest in us? Who are we? Like, we don't even go into the basics of who we are. How do we know? Like, if you want to learn a software, right, you need to know what is the software, how does it work, what is it all about before you even know how to apply it. So if you don't
Mm.
even know who you are, how do you expect to utilize your talents? How do you expect, if you don't know where you're coming from? And I'm not talking about location, like I'm from Teluk Intan. No, where you coming from? What are you coming with? What is your background like? What is your understanding of certain words? Like, if someone says death, what does it mean to you? For me, like the word death, for example, back then it meant to me my brother dying, my brother leaving us. But today it means something completely different. That for me is just an ending of a particular phase in this temporary place. That's it. It's just a transition.
Mm.
So our understanding of, where we came from, what are the background that we come with, the words associated, how we grew up, our cultures, all this contributes to the
Who we
essence of who we are, right? But we need to figure those parts off. That's why when we're talking about finding, we use the word finding, right, or locating your purpose, you need to know, what are you all about? We don't spend time, Mala. Let's be very, most of us don't spend time finding out about ourselves. I think it scares us. It scares us. We spend hours and hours. We're going for interview, research about the company, right? You wanna interview someone, you research about that person, find out every single thing about themselves. Have you ever taken that time to do the same to yourself? How many of us do that? Have you
Okay,
researched yourself?
Cheryl has asked a very important question. How many of you do that? So I'm quite obsessed with myself, Cheryl. So I have to say, I'm really obsessed with myself. So I really find
Yeah.
myself still figuring myself out
Yes.
at my
Yeah.
age, right? And that's why I think I'm very interesting, because I don't know myself enough. So I think what would be very nice is to hear from the audience, if you're here, right? Like, what did you do to find out who you are? And because when other people are reading it, we can see what's the path of journey that we've actually taken,
Mhm.
right? So for me, is every time I reflect and I don't understand why I did what I did. Like, why did I get angry? Or even why did I get excited when I meet someone, right? I'm just
Yeah.
very curious.
Yes.
What was that why about? Why am I attracted to someone? And even when I'm not attracted to someone, I want to know why I'm not attracted to someone, right? So I think, and that's what we're talking about. So, Cheryl, let's go back to True Not, because when you first say True Not, one of my favorite books, one of the book that inspired me a lot, was Your True North by Bill George. I
Mhm.
loved his stories because he says exactly what you're saying. So, and I want you to know that, right? Because what he did is, he did what we call, he interviewed people. He interviewed people because he wanted to know what made them so great and outstanding in the fields that they do, from the Oprah
Mhm.
Winfrey of the world, right? And they all had a particular pattern of thinking and living and choosing,
Yeah.
right? And it echoes, and so they're all purpose driven in their own way. And even at the point where they were successful, right? They didn't know why they were successful, but when he interviewed them, he saw the same pattern for everybody. So people may not have known their
Yes.
purpose, but they lived their
Lived
purpose.
it. Yes.
They
Yes.
lived it. And in terms of, I'm not sure, again, when it comes to locating as to who you are, they were all driven by a set of values that was
Yes.
close to them, that defined them. And
Exactly.
they may not have known that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and of course, I connect that work to finding your authentic self. But let's get back to you, right? Now, if you look at, so for those who are listening, and for those who are watching us, right? Oh, Gerald has come, and this is Gerald's favorite line: "Love and know
Know
ourselves first."
yourself.
There is one
Yeah.
of those who like says, "I love myself," and
Mm.
that he really both inspires me and makes me curious. It's like, how can someone love him or herself a lot? So he inspires me that way.
Yeah.
Now, Alia says, I did a SWOT analysis on myself. So let's go back to your the idea of True North, right? Because you've said a lot of things, right? If you if someone asked you what are the components of true north, because you did say it's about knowing who you are. Now, what would you consider as components? Can you give us a couple of very quick tips to say, if I want to know what's my true north, who am I, and how do I make a difference? What are some components that comes to your mind right now, Cheryl?
I think when looking at locating your north, right, your true north, I think 5 questions you have to ask yourself, right? Who are you? Where are you from? Okay, you ask yourself, why are you here? What are
Mm.
your abilities? That means what is your superpowers? Okay, and where are you going? These 5 main questions, which sounds very simple, right? But it's
Oh,
not.
yeah, yeah. Repeat it for us.
Who
Who
are
are you?
you?
Where are
Where are
you
you
from?
from? Okay. Why are you here?
Why are
Your
you here?
purpose. Why are you here? What can you do? Let's look at your superpowers, your
Yes.
abilities. And of course, the last is where are you going?
Okay, nice, nice. Where are you going? All right, very nice. That brings us to Honey's question. Cheryl, how do you know you're keeping to your true north? So if I
Mhm.
know all of this, I
Yes.
think, I need you to either validate or give me clarity, right? I think that at any point of time, if you are on the personal development journey, right? So when I was much younger, at different points in my life, I was very sure about who I was and where I was going,
Mhm. Mhm.
and that either some actually I don't think I made major shifts. No, I didn't make major shifts. But I'm open to shifts, right? Like at some point of time, I couldn't imagine doing anything else but training. Today, I can't imagine doing anything else other than training. I
I
can
get
imagine.
that. I get that completely, right?
So what might have been like you could have been very sure of yourself at one point of time, right? And now things shift. For me, for me, it's still, I am still on the same course,
Yeah.
right? Same cause in terms of my purpose and my values. I'm serving it. It can take different forms, right? So Honey is asking, how do you know? But I may not be sure. Sometimes when you are at crossroads,
Yes.
right? When you wake up and you really feel very strongly that you want to do something else, for example, right? And your heart is pushing you. You sometimes are hesitant because is it really my call,
Mm-hmm.
or right, is it the noise that's getting to me? So how do you know that when you're making changes, making shifts, making choices, that it's your true north? It's Honey's question plus my question.
Okay. So for me, how I look at it in a layman term is distortion. When I feel this distortion, like something not doesn't feel right.
Mm,
Okay. But if you want a structured the most structured answer, right, for example, is misalignment. When you're in misalignment, when your values don't match, so a lot of
mm,
people will say, oh, but maybe what I'm trying to do, or what this job that I'm doing right now, like I'll give you an example. When I was in advertising, I've been into many different fields. That part, I'm very brave to simply join different fields. I can just move. I mean, I used to be like that when I was younger, right? So I joined the advertising field and I was working as a copywriter. And one of the jobs they asked me to do basically is that I need to come up with an advertisement. It's a video advert basically, and I need to sell this. Merdeka Independence Day. We have that flag, and the ones with the sweets. So this one has sweets, and it has this automatic kind of mechanism where when you put your hand like that, the flag comes out, and then there's some music. The kids play with that, and they were asking us to use that product. We're supposed to sell that product, and with the whole unity concept, and it didn't work.
mm,
And now I have to. They wanted me to create a prototype of it. Sounds like, looks like, but isn't that idea. I refused to. I was only in my like early 20s. I was like, no, that's dishonest and that is lying to people. And I left the job.
mm.
I did. I left the job like almost
No,
immediately
no,
because
I get you. I get you.
it's misaligned completely from my value. I want to be honest. Now,
Mm,
when I put this on, everyone is going to think that this thing works in that way. But I've just created a prototype that looks like it, and they didn't. And when we brought this issue to the person the client refused to make changes to the product or improve the product or say like, oh my god, something's wrong with our product. Okay, let's go back into R&D and let's look at how we can make it work. Maybe it's just one or two faulty ones. No, they were like, just create something to make it work, just make it work. And my boss's way of making it work was just to create a prototype of it that works. And I was like, no, I can't do that. That's against my values. So when I feel misaligned, but that's the whole point, right? How do you know you're misaligned? How do you know that it's distortion? You need to identify what are your values. So you might have 4 or 5 core values, right? And out of the 4 or 5 core values, whatever you're doing might have a couple of the values, might not have certain values. Then you go back to prioritizing. And people don't like that. When you say to them, okay, Mala, what is the most important thing to you right now? What's the most, okay, if you have to choose, right? The most important value to you right now. For me, that's how I identify whether this is something I should go ahead with or not. My most core value. Does it, because it's like, you have laws in your company, right? You have the big book of laws, then you have the minor ones based on your department. End of the day, the bigger laws overthrow the smaller ones, if that makes sense. So your core value is like a compass for you to know
Sure.
that, hey, it might align with something else, but the main core value of who I am, I pride myself on being honest.
Mm.
And a lot of us will say, my company forced me to do, I got no choice. I'm like, no, for me, I cannot. Because if I were to do it, I will not just feel uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is not a big deal, but I I will feel unhappy with myself. I cannot live with myself. I cannot sleep at night.
Hold on. There are a lot of people who sleep at night when we can't sleep. But so hold on to that, right? So
Can't
two,
sleep at night.
two things. I mean, I relate to you. I relate to you
Yeah.
because for me, I don't. So one of those top values that I serve is peace in my heart. So my misalignment, if I show up badly or when I show up badly,
Yeah.
I know that it's almost your conscience pricking you in the night and saying, I've treated someone badly or I didn't show up as me. So so I always check in for peace. So when you
Yes.
talk about, anyway, by the way, Bill George also says that you must read his book, then you will know that he copied you. But let's talk about, so you are clear and you are dealing with your conscience, but we know that generally people struggle with it. So number one is,
Yeah.
you said, so what you're saying basically is that knowing who you are also means that what you stand for, right? Which is your choices are based on your core values, right?
It's like your non-negotiables lah. Like what Honey would say, your non-negotiables.
Right. But so it is your core values, right? And some of us think some things are our core values. So my take on my own values is this, right? I can say something is my core value, but my actions will show me whether these values
Exactly. Yeah.
really are not negotiable. Because
Yes.
if I can negotiate these values because of a pay rise, because of a relationship, because of power play, because of an opportunity,
Yes.
whatever that can be,
Not.
ever, right? However enticing it is, then what I'm doing is I have misunderstood my real values.
Yes.
So what these desires do is that they help me to surface what I am really serving. Even though I can blame the world, I can blame the pressure, I can blame how much I
Yeah.
need. We can do all of that. And we've done that. Well, I've done that, and many people are doing that because they fall into then the trap to say, I have no choice but to do this. I had no choice at that moment. And
Always have a choice.
but that is the choice you made.
Yes, it's a choice you make. You might
And
not be the most desirable choice. You
exactly,
might feel like you don't have a choice, but you are making a choice.
it's
When you
choice.
make a choice, you're sacrificing something else.
And that sacrifice that you're making shows that the one that you chose is actually more important for you than what
Yes.
you thought was
The
important.
priority lah. That's why you need to prioritize your value. But sometimes you're right. We don't know what our value is. If you speak to most people, right? A lot of people like to say this. What do you want in life? Oh, I want to earn. I want to be a millionaire. I want a lot of money and all that. But if you really speak to them, you really go through and question and ask them and go deeper into questioning with them. Often they will tell you it's not the money The money is just a tool, right? What they want is actually to build a better life for their family. What they want actually is to make their parents happy. So sometimes, like, we think that is what we want, but we need to actually go deeper and deeper. And that's why we need coaches, right? I never, this is coming from someone who don't believe in coaches, right? And now I got like multiple coaches. Because in the beginning, I believed, right? Hey, is everything is within us. Why do I need a coach? Find myself lah. You know what I mean? But
Can not take very long leh.
we need, can we find ourselves? We can, but we need to equip ourselves with the right tools, and it might take a longer time. Because like you said, right, this guy who has interviewed this many people, he's got that wisdom because he's gone through that experience and that journey. We don't have to do that. That's why we go to people like that to help guide us, to be that torchlight for us, to guide us on the way. It's not that they're giving us the answers. We have the answers within us. They are just inspiring the freedom from within us. They are inspiring. It's like unlock and key.
Yeah, you do. I don't know whether you one of the stories that really anchors me about finding answers within, right?
Yeah.
Especially when I was much younger, I still have many mentors and coaches that I go to on a regular basis for guidance, right? And one of the stories that has always helped me is the guy who lost his key, and he was looking for his key under the street light, and when he was asked where you lost the key, he said, "Well, I lost it somewhere else." And the wise man asked, "Why are you looking for it under the street light?" He said, "Because there's light, right?" And so, and these, yeah. And where did you lose your key in the first place, right? And when they explored, he said, "Well, it's dark there, and I have no light." And the wise man said, "Now why don't you go and get some light first, right, within you, right?" And I think coaches or any individuals, whatever labels we want to give them, right, whether they're coaches or whoever, I think really what they do, great coaches help you to find your switch. So they help you to, and it can be a friendly conversation, right? I mean, sometimes my switches are from my children, right? From someone you don't expect, and you're having a conversation. So basically, the idea of finding ourselves has a lot to do with whether we are willing to pause, reflect, figure ourselves out, so that we continue to find our switch, right? Because you did say, and I like what you said when you spoke about values, right? Knowing your values, and what choices you're making based on your values. And you spoke about money, because one of those things I find when we're running workshops is everyone says I'm motivated by money, right? And we always say this, right, in our workshop, when we do our motivational workshop, we say, think about what you do with your time and money that will tell you what you value, right? Because I use my money to, so we used to have this fun thing, people say, I don't want weekend programs, and I agree, and they'll say, because it's my family time, you're invading into my family time. And the question is, what do you do over the weekend? I play golf. I go to right? I mean, there's nothing wrong in that, but you're not serving the family value. If you just need to get that right. What are you serving with your action? So our actions, where we spend our most important resources, which is money and time, will actually surface our values. It's like people who say, I love people, but they don't believe in having conversations with people or spending time with people, right? And then they say, I love people, right? So I think that's what you've actually surfaced for us to actually understand core values, and how, like what Hani says, sometimes we need a third eye to see what's beyond the blinkers, right? The blind spot. We're all human. Yeah, and that's why we need that. Now, going back to True North, right? In your own life experience, because Alia asked whether our True North can shift.
Definitely.
Okay, so you answered definitely, Ari. Now, so can you share with us maybe some of your life experience, whether how your True North had shifted?
Okay.
And how did you transition?
So, of course, back then when I was in uni, right, I had no idea there's such a thing called True North, or even the concept of purpose is not something I even knew about, right? But I think when I was like in my late 20s, maybe I shouldn't say that, then you all know how old I am, right? But in my late 20s, I suddenly had this, I just woke up one day and had this awakening, and I felt like, oh my God, like, what am I doing with my life? Am I doing something purposeful? Like, am I creating change? If I die today, will I be happy with what I've done? Have I contributed anything? I just out of nowhere this came, and I was like, oh my God, I need to do something really useful. I need to do something. And I almost took a job to go to Sarawak and work with the penants in Sarawak at that point of time, because I felt like, what I'm doing is not enough, right? And that's when the whole idea of concept of purpose, concept of started coming. But it came to me like, I would say, divine intervention. I believe I'm a very spiritual person. I believe in God Almighty. And I believe that was divine intervention for me when that clicked. But even then, I didn't know the idea of true north and all this back then. But if I were to use an example of the shift, right, for me, I've always believed, I've been teaching for 15 years now. Okay. And I always believe that my job, because I've moved different jobs, I've worked in editing, I've worked as a writer, magazine writer, I've worked in, where they do the online learning, I've become an editor there as well. I've done these little jobs. I worked in the hotel line as a Marcom person. And every single time I've pulled back to education, pulled back to university. So I always thought, or for the last before this last 3 years or 4 years, I always thought that, oh, since I always come back to education, I think my purpose is to teach in a
Right.
university, right? And Alia says, like, can you change your true north? Then I realized my bigger purpose is to create impact, to
Mm.
help, to inspire that change in people, to help people make that change, to have an impact on people, to make a difference. That is the
Mm.
overarching, the main thing. I
Mm.
don't have to work in a university to do that.
Right.
I can do it when I train. I can do it when I coach. I can do it right now when I'm speaking to all of you. I can do it when I have a conversation with Mala over the phone, or with GD, or with Hani, or, when Nimala and I have a coffee. I can do that. And I realized that, I think as I become more mature, I've realized that I can learn from anybody. I can learn anything. I'm capable of doing anything. I'm not limited to certain things. And it's told me that when it comes to your not, right? Your not changes depending on how you change. Because again, it goes back to who you are, right? So if who you are changes, your core values can change if you have a significant um, life change, right? Sometimes when somebody passes away, that might impact you in a huge way. Your core values might change.
Mm.
Maybe what you're chasing for previously might be very different from what you want right now in life. Why do a lot of people, when they are hit their 50s, suddenly want to stop being corporate trainers and go to the university and start teaching? Why? There's a significant life change, some definite moment that occurs that changes their true north. Maybe all their life they felt they should be a corporate trainer. Suddenly something sparks within them, right? But everyone's journey is different. And for some people, like I was speaking to Leon, some of you would have seen Leon's post, right? On self love. He talks about self love on LinkedIn. You should look him up. He runs this self love movement. He was determined, he knew his true north when he was like 16. He didn't know what it meant yet. He didn't know what is the idea of a coach, but he knew he wanted to impact people's life and he wanted to become a coach, even though he had no clue at that point of time what it meant. Yeah. So like certain seeds are planted into us, I believe, if
So
that makes sense.
Cheryl, yeah, you always make sense, except that we have got very little time to make sense of out of all the complex things that you're saying, because you're giving us really
Yeah,
big stuff.
yeah. It's big stuff, yeah, definitely.
It's big, very useful, and well, my job is to make sure I understand it. I forget about the people, but I need to understand. So I like your example of teaching, because teaching is not your purpose. Teaching is really how you live your purpose, is what I'm
Yeah.
hearing, right?
One
So
of
we start off with what we love, what we enjoy, because it helps us to express ourselves. And during these moments, you find who you are, what you like, what you don't like, and the why you like something. Sometimes we are at the surface level, we are just looking at the emotional engagement and the joy that we find when we do something, right? But what drives our purpose is to be able to consistently do the same thing when we like it.
sustainability. Yeah.
Yeah, and not like it, because there are times you're not going to like what you do,
Yeah.
but it's being able to do that, because that's being purpose driven, right?
Yes.
And so you are basically saying that it is really our life purpose. So you did say, you thought, teaching is your purpose, and now you're open, right? So if I asked you now, so what is your purpose? So in every interaction, teaching is a role, and we play
Yes.
many roles, right? Teaching is a role, and you play many corporate roles, or professional roles, as well as your personal roles, right? So if I ask you now, so Cheryl, what's your purpose? Where you play it out in different roles, that's fine, but what's that one purpose that you connect with?
I think I can. It relates to how you relate to EQ as well, right? When you, for me, it's inspiring freedom for people.
Freedom.
And inspiring freedom, getting them to feel that they can take charge, they can thrive, they
Right.
can make that move. And I think that ownership is so important. And I didn't have that as well. I struggled with many things in my life, right? How I looked, I had like this super curly hair, I was super short. People call me Maggie Me in school. It was tough, you know. I looked different, and it was tough growing up sometimes. Not because my parents were like my 150% in terms of supporting me, but when you don't know who you are, when you don't know what you're all about, it's very hard for you to know what is your true north. For me now, I know that because this is what I struggled with, right? Finding that freedom from within. Even though people were telling me, I had my parents telling me, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're confident, you're strong, but still it did not click because something within me, that part didn't click. That didn't align at that point of time as I was growing up. I had not come to that point where it clicked, right?
So
So my joy is to inspire that freedom for other people because I struggled with that and I found it. And when I found it, everything else clicked, everything else sparked for me. I was able
nice.
to do everything after that.
Oh, I like the fact that you
Not
can do
not to
everything.
say I don't struggle, Mala. I'm not saying when you find that thing suddenly you're all perfect. No, guys. I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying that once you have that ownership, right? Once you believe that you are you are holding the steering wheel, not someone else, and you will know that whatever happens is you are doing. You put yourself where you are through some of your decisions that you make. It's you. And it's hard because you mean it's because of me I had that kind of boss? It's
Right.
because of me, that the boss treated me that way. You're saying it's my fault. You tend to get defensive, right? Like, seriously, Cheryl? You're saying it's my fault that the person treated me that way. But we have our part in it as well. And
Right.
when we realize that, that is growth for us. And
Nice.
I want to help people find that.
All right. So so what I'm hearing, and this is really my favorite word, right? Because I associate freedom with authenticity. You need to be free to be you, but
Yeah,
for you to be free to be you, you need to know who you are so that you can be free,
yeah,
right?
definitely.
And Nimala says so very true, Cheryl. We need the key to unlock our potentials, that is to free us and inspire us to be better.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nimala. I'm going to read. Thank you, Nirmala. And GD says, compromising values versus decision. What's the threshold to handle? So I'm going to hold on to GD's question first. GD, hold on, yeah. And I think there are no more questions. Oh, and Nirmala says she loves the non-negotiable. So let's just, before we handle GD's question, which might be the final question, right? I like the fact that you say that the idea of free to be you, and you had connected it to your own challenges that you had faced in your childhood, right? In the way people generally treated you, and you didn't like it, right? And I think that's so you see Nimala saying is, yeah, so very relatable, have gone through many such instances but came out stronger and more confident. So and this is what I love, right? About people that I know, most people around me, I have chosen what I call the hero's journey. You take your pain and you turn them into pearls. You take your pain, you find the hero within you to overcome your pain first, right? And you become a pearl. And what's amazing about the hero's journey, like what you're sharing, Cheryl, is that you then want to use your experience to take away the pain proactively
Yes.
in the future from others,
Yeah.
right? Now, so, and that's what you seem to be saying, right? Like, I've been through this, but I'm going to learn this. I'm going to hack this. I'm going to find what's the best practice. And after that, I'm going to look out for the Cheryls like me who are experiencing that, because I know that if I took this pain away from them at an earlier stage, they could rise much better.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's never too late lah, anytime. But
Yeah.
imagine if we had this knowledge 5 years ago, 10 years
Sure.
ago, when you first started
Sure.
off. Why not, right?
Sure. So my question is this, right? Do you then think that everyone has a pain, and they can actually, when we talk about growth mindset, has a pain or has a difficulty or has a challenge, which then drives them to find their purpose?
I think purpose
Or do
can
you
come from
know
many
otherwise?
things. It can come from many things. It could come from pain. It could also
Right.
come from joy.
Okay.
It could come from any emotion, actually, if you think about it, right?
Right.
But I think it's our journey, right? Our journey has put us in different boxes,
Mm.
and our journey has told us what we can't and what we can do.
Right.
When actually, what we can't and what we can do should be decided by us. But we've been told, Cheryl, you're too short to do this. Cheryl, you're too loud to do this. Cheryl, you're too this to do that. So when people tell you what you can and what you can't do as you're growing up, or as you're learning, or as you're going through that journey, you have already added those boxes on. So when you meet certain things in life, then you're like, oh, this is under the can't do. Don't even approach it. You have that fear already, because there's already a wall there. So our challenge is actually to bypass that. That makes
Would it be bypass, or would it be to relook at the basic programming that we were handed on
Oh,
from us?
subconscious programming is a whole different thing. And
Yeah.
then, I mean, that's a whole conversation by itself.
We
And
need to call you back again, basically.
I mean, subconscious programming, I mean, if you speak to a lot of the NLP coaches, right, they will talk to you about that subconscious programming. We are going back to, again, that goes back to the fundamental question of who you are. To know who you
Exactly.
are and
Yeah,
where you're from.
right.
What are
But
your values?
yeah, so Cheryl, what you're saying is this, right? So what I'm hearing from you, I just want to confirm this before we do GD's final question, right? So we all, because of where we are born, our family background, we are given a programming. A program is written on you. For example, in your case, your parents said, you're beautiful, right? While the noise outside was probably saying some other stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I may not have had that programming, because there are many parents who are not happy with the way their children are turning up. So, so you come into the world with a programming, right? And when you are on the personal development journey, which is you start asking the 5 questions that you say, who you are, why am I here, how do I want to make a difference? This is when you begin to now then question your basic programming and to say, hey, this is what I feel I want to be, but my programming is going against it.
Yeah.
And this is where the growth journey is, because you now then choose to rewrite your programming the way you want it. And that's basically what I'm trying. So yeah, we're on track with that.
Yeah,
Now,
definitely. Are you familiar with Dr. Miles Monroe?
no.
Okay, the late Dr. Miles Monroe, right? He talked about the concept of, cars, right? When cars are manufactured, or any product is manufactured, right? Do you realize no product ever leaves the manufacturing, where company or whatever, till it's been tested over and over again, it goes to quality control?
Right.
We are like, if you think about it, we are like a product, but do we even bother to test ourselves over and over again? And when you get a product, like just say you buy a new iPhone or whatever it is, if you don't maximize its functions, you don't know how to use it, then you can't really use the benefit of it. You might have my husband always tells me, right? Yeah, you have this fantastic phone. All you do with it is like you take phone calls, you WhatsApp. Do you know it can do this? Do you know it can split screen? Do you know? So that's us, right? Who we are. Are we able to do that? And it goes back to like you said, the subconscious programming, right? Who are we? And why? And a lot of things we don't start from zero slowly and we grow up. We go later on, then we go like, why is it I'm having such a problem with money? Yeah. You go like, okay, what is my belief on money? What do I think about money? Then you go like, oh, maybe it's my subconscious programming telling me that, oh, having money is a bad thing. Funny, right? But yeah, like someone like me, I struggle with that. That's something that I've been trying to, like you said, rewrite, right? Reprogram. money is something that I'm trying to reprogram. When money goes out, it's not like you're losing money, but it's a value, it's an exchange. Now my brain is set that way. So when money goes out, I know money is going to come back double fold. But last time I was like, oh my God, money is going, my wallet is becoming emptier. So you grudge the money going on.
Yet again, it's a belief. So,
Yeah.
Cheryl, I just want to add, add something on, because when you actually said the example of the phone, I resonated with it because um, I love my iPhone, right? And I realized that when you know how when new upgrades come, sometimes you're tempted to upgrade the phone without having used the function before that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of those things that I remind myself is I don't need an upgraded phone or an upgraded laptop because I haven't really fully utilized mine. And this is what happens, I think, with people too, that
Yes.
without us understanding
A
our
core understanding. Yeah.
full potential, first not understanding who we are and what does it mean to be at our optimal level of performance,
Yeah.
sometimes we take on upgrading that we cannot handle,
Handle. Yeah.
we can't
Exactly.
manage, right? Because, and when we are put to test and we are stressed out, that's when we fall out and make choices that is not us. And
Yeah.
I think that concept that you said, I think it's very important for us to do what Alia says. You do your own SWOT analysis to
Yeah.
say, first and foremost, do I know all my functions? Am I at my optimum level
Optimum
now?
level.
Am I ready for an upgrade? Or
Mm-hmm.
am I going to just upgrade, pay a higher price, and not use the upgrades?
Yeah.
I
Do you
think
know what it's all about? You know how to
exactly.
use it? It's like online learning, right? Now with COVID, everyone is doing online learning. We call it online learning. Do you really know how to use online learning, or you just taking your slides, putting it online, and just playing it and saying, "Hey, that's online learning"?
Exactly. So, I mean, that's basically what you're saying. So, Cheryl,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Very quickly, is it possible for you to answer GD's question so that he doesn't kill me?
Okay.
Compromising value versus decision. What's the threshold? He asked before we go to the rapid fire, because I think Gerald is already telling me to shut up. He said, "Wonderful sharing, lots of diamond nuggets. Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
Mother. Have a wonderful weekend." So he's like, basically, can you just shut up and let us have our weekend? So Gerald, you can go. So you can answer the question that GD asked, which is, what is the threshold between value versus decision?
What's the threshold? What do you mean, GD? What do you think GD means?
Okay, I think basically what you know how people make choices, which is they call it logical choices. I had no choice, lah. I have to do this because otherwise, I'll be blacklisted. I won't get promoted. My boss won't like me. My life will be difficult compared to, say, a value-based decision, right?
Yeah.
I see this all the time. I mean, think about yourself as sometimes as a teacher, right?
Yeah.
Do you stay true to the value of serving your students,
Mm-hmm.
or do you stay true to the value of education, which has become a business because you want to
So
show good numbers, right? So that, I think that's
that's
probably.
that's a very good question. So how I look at it is something that my cousin Valerie taught me, right?
Mm,
She uses this concept in marriage, but I think it applies to everything in life, right? So is it battle? First, identify: is it a battle or is it a war? So
right.
if it's a battle, I can let it go and I can conform. But if it's a war, I'm going to go all out with my armor and all that. So I think you need to identify. Again, it goes back, what is your core, right? Is it a non-negotiable that you say, no, I cannot? When I do this, it's going to break everything about me. I'm going to be a hypocrite to myself. And end of the day, we do sometimes make that decision, right? We compromise our values for certain decisions. The question at the end of the day, if you do that, it's okay, guys. But are you okay with it?
Can you
Are you
live with
okay with it? Can you live with that decision? And sometimes, unfortunately, we will make those decisions that we don't want to. Maybe due to a lack of experience, maybe due to a lack of, we feel pushed into that, especially when uh, I feel like when I was younger, maybe I was pushed to make certain decisions. I felt like I didn't have a choice because I didn't have certain awareness, right? But it's okay. As long as I can live with the fact that, okay, I made this choice. Okay, I've done it now. What can I do to make it better? What can I do to elevate myself further? Because I've already made that choice. Don't kill yourself or don't beat yourself about it. You've already done it. But for me, how do I decide what's my threshold is I ask myself, is it a battle or is it a war?
Okay.
If it's a war, I'm going to go all out. If it's a battle,
Let it go. I can afford to lose the battle
I
to
can
win.
afford to lose the battle, but I cannot afford to lose the war.
Okay, so my question is this: if I know it's a war, my question for you, right? If I know it's a war, but I know that this war will cause my death because I am not equipped.
Interesting question. Get equipped. You need to get equipped. But
Okay, so this is not your war. You
yeah,
just
you
want
you
your war.
you need to get equipped. And again, whose war is it? That's a good thing as well. Whose war is it? Is it your war?
Right, right.
Is it
Yeah,
your
because
war?
this is where sometimes I think people blindly kill themselves in a war that they are not
Yeah.
ready.
It's not.
When
It's not your
you're not
war.
ready, you're not ready, right?
Yeah.
So Ani says, no, the reason why we diverted from our true north, and we know what's the
What's the
repercussion,
repercussion?
right? So
Being
thank you,
able
Hani.
to sit with it yourself, lah. That's most important, right? Going back to being authentic. So if you've done that already, I'm not like, okay, that's it for life. I blacklist you, no lah. You know?
I know, I mean, yeah, but Hani says choose your battle or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think one of those things that I want to say is that I think a lot of us have um, renegotiated with our conscience.
Yeah.
A lot of us have
We do.
convinced and rocked our conscience to sleep or coma, right? Because the first time you do it, you feel uncomfortable. The second time you do it, you tell yourself stories to say this is okay. And if you keep saying it is okay, it eventually feels okay.
Okay. It becomes a
Not,
norm. It's all
yeah,
right.
not because
Not
it
such
is
a big deal.
what we are recognizing from neuroscience work is that not because it is okay, but you have trained yourself to be
Yeah.
okay. And it will come back to haunt you one day.
Like I
It's,
cheated, but it's okay because Miss Cheryl didn't teach me properly. So it's okay if I cheated.
yeah, and I wasn't found. So anyway, thank
Yeah.
you. Hate the game, not the player. Thank you, angels. Oh, GD is calling us angels. So, darling, are you ready for your rapid fire?
No. But I don't have a choice, do I?
No, you do have a choice. You can say I'm not going to answer the question, and
Okay,
you
okay. I have a choice, definitely. Let's go.
you do have a choice. So, but let's see, I'm sure you can answer all of this. Through North, of course, you know you're in this series called Being Whole, Being Me, right, Cheryl? So, Through North makes me whole. Finish the sentence.
True not makes me whole. Is that a sentence? Is that your
Yeah,
sentence?
finish the sentence.
Because
How
of what
does,
you mean.
how does True Not make you whole? Finish the sentence. True Not makes me whole.
True not puts me in alignment.
Okay. True Not retains the me in me. Finish the sentence.
True not retains the me
The
in
me.
me
The
when
me.
the me in me when I'm inspired by the freedom I have.
Nice. See, can answer also. When I don't stay on course with my true north, what happens?
I'm in misalignment and I feel a form of distortion.
Okay, nice. One gift to this world when I stay on course with my true north is
I inspire freedom.
the only thing that will stop me from my true north.
If I'm dead.
If all of us followed our true north, the world will become a better place. How?
Because there's nothing we can't do. There's always solutions to everything.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you very much. You did so well. Now, because you did so well, I need to just read two things, and then I have a request for you. Nimala says, "What is it? A war with your own values, but your fellow army can't see the same through not." This is talking about organizational level issues. Yeah, I think the quick answer to that is very much the organization has not aligned their organizational values. So one of those things that we talk about, a lot of organizations think that if you can tell people about values. You can't tell people
You have to
about values.
demonstrate, you have to show.
People need to own those values, Nimala. So that's totally misalignment. Honey says, George says, be careful between true north and magnetic north. So we'll need to do something on magnetic north. George, looks like I need to talk to you now. Cheryl, so
Yeah.
thank you very much, and for saying yes and for giving us this diamond nuggets in this 1 hour 11 minutes. So far, I have 4 more minutes with you, so I'm going to ask you: is there anything else you like to leave the audience with?
Mm. I think we often live below our ability. What we should do is we ourselves should take that ownership, hold that steering wheel, own it, and inspire our freedom that comes from within. And if we can't do that ourselves, ask for help. Nothing wrong with that. It's a constant journey, guys. I feel it's a constant journey. So don't look at it as a destination, look at it as a journey, a continuous journey. And if you look at it like that, we will constantly be growing, and we won't have that, oh, I finished this, so I'm done. You know?
Nice, nice. And Alia says, thank you for the platinum share. Cheryl, it's platinum. Don't
Wow,
complain.
thanks for Alia somewhere, right? Big time. Thank you, boss.
Yeah, don't play. Okay, since we have 3 minutes, right? If you take everything that you have said now, what is one song that resonates with you?
Oh, you're pulling back my
Chances are I won't know the song you're talking about, right? Because it'll be in English.
I think for me, right, a lot of worship songs, um, a lot of worship songs.
One song.
I'm very bad with names, very bad with names. Um,
Or what is that one song that anchors you in your true north?
Wait, the song is in my mind. I'm trying to remember the name.
Okay. Maybe you can just sing it for us, then you'll remember the name.
Okay.
You're going to sing for us? Woohoo! Okay. So
just a snippet which I remember, right? What can you do? What can't you do? Nothing impossible. Nothing impossible. What can't you do? What can't you do? Nothing impossible without God. So that is my guiding light.
Thank you very much, Cheryl. Thank you so much for singing us the song. And for those who want to hear more of Cheryl's voice and her daughter's
I
voice,
think you need to cut off the last part.
why?
But yeah.
Follow Cheryl on Insta, because you see amazing stuff happening with Cheryl on Insta. I mean, I'm totally inspired, especially when you sing, because I can't sing for nuts, right? And yeah, the song that anchors me is the song, it's again a worship song, In His Time. God makes all things beautiful in His own time, right? So, Cheryl, thank you very much. I wish you all the best. And, I am really, hoping that our true north is going through the same course, and that we will probably, if not sail the same ship, we'll be side by side this year. And with that, I want to thank you. I want to tell you I love you, and I want to thank you for the times that you stood by me, for being kind to me, and being there. Being there. It's always nice when someone calls you and says, I look at you as my coach or mentor or whatever. They look up to you, but actually you're receiving a lot from them, and you're one such person. I wish you all the best, and I am excited to see how high you're going to fly, and I'm looking forward to looking up and celebrating every mile that you travel with joy. So thank you, Cheryl. Happy New Year. Have a great year. God bless you. Love you. Let's stay connected, and we're going to come to Sravan to meet your husband soon, I think. With that, thank you, Cheryl. Bye for now. All right, so that was Cheryl. I hope you enjoyed, and Alia says see you soon. Yes. So this is Malhar signing off, being whole, being me. Thank you for being here. Nothing is impossible. Planet Shaker says, my wonderful friend Alia. So thank you very much for joining us. I hope this was really useful. I will see you next week again at 12 o'clock. Being whole, being me, episode 38. And I think I have an unusual guest lined up for you next week. With that, this is Malhar signing off For now, from Hearts and Minds Development Center, I see you when I see you again next week at 12 o'clock. Bye.
Hi everyone, Happy New Year and Happy 2022. I inspire freedom from within in order to locate your true north. Understanding who you are is the essence of being able to contribute back to the world.